everybody out here. We all here? Who's every? Hey, George.
Need help to carry a big bag of money in.
We know it's. Where's Michelle and Jen? We got. You guys gotta be up. Yeah. Yeah. Come on. Okay. Okay. All right. Welcome everybody. And I'm really happy to be here today. Before I begin, I think I speak for everybody here when I say that our prayers are with the people of Ukraine during this difficult moment. President Biden is going to speak on the subject in a very short while, and we'll wait to hear what he has to say. But I'm happy to take questions on that at the end of all of this. But I appreciate everybody being here today. I am glad to share this stage with so many great champions for Worcester and Central Massachusetts. I want to especially thank our incredible state legislative delegation, Senator Moore and Representative Donahue, for who helped take the money the federal government provided the Commonwealth and get it to incredible organizations that are doing amazing things, organizations like Mass Autobahn. I also want to thank our incredible city manager, Ed Augustus, and Mayor Joe Petty for all that they do for our community. City Councilor Russell is here with us, and so we all work as a team here, and it's again a great pleasure to work with all of them. But before I turn things over to them, let me just share a few thoughts. We're here today because this funding is a big deal. This is a win for the neighborhood, a win for the city of Worcester, and a win for everyone who believes in the incredible conservation work being done by Mass Autobahn. I'd also go so far as to suggest that this is a win for the people who care about whether, as a country, America can still make progress on issues that matter. And I would say that looking around here today, the answer to that question is yes. And that's because thanks to the work of President Biden and House Democrats and Senate Democrats, Massachusetts received billions of dollars in flexible aid that the state was able to allocate to organizations like Mass Autobahn. This $500,000 is going to enable the incredible experts here at Mass Autobahn to continue their great work. I'll leave the specifics to them, but I'll just say, in addition to being a great resource for recreation and education in our city, Broadmeadow Brook is the largest urban wildlife refuge in New England. We have relied heavily on natural spaces over the past 2 years during this pandemic. They are restorative, not just for all of us as individuals, but also for ecosystems. And on a large scale, they're part of our fight to maintain a livable world. On a small scale, they're part of a solution to ensuring that nature is a place for everyone. Conservation is the epitome of thinking globally and acting locally. And I'm grateful that we have such great stewards right here in my hometown. And I also want to thank all the activists and the neighborhood supporters who are here today who make this place so incredibly special. I'm thrilled to see the effects of our work in Washington right here in Worcester. And thanks to the leadership of President Biden and to my colleagues in Congress, we are putting government back on the side of the people, and we're fighting to protect our planet and conserve our precious ecosystem here in Worcester and across America. So between the American Rescue Plan and the bipartisan infrastructure law, we are seeing a historic amount of investment in communities all across this country in ways that will make a difference and change people's lives. And don't get me wrong, there is plenty of work ahead, and I'm hopeful that 2022 will build on the successes to achieve lasting structural change. But I think that a win like this signifies a change in mindset that is long overdue. You know, under this administration, we're turning the page on cynicism and pessimism about what government can do for American families. And the costs of continued inaction are too high. Americans want more than what our 32nd President Franklin Roosevelt once described as a government frozen in the ice of its own indifference. They want a government that actually listens to them and fights for them. They want a government that sees the values of places like Broadmeadow Brook and actually takes actions to clean up our country and leave it better than we found it. They want to solve big problems, not to nibble around the edges, and they want leaders who reflect what's best about America, leaders that, like the ones who are here behind me, who are making a real difference every day. So, look, this is a great day. This is a moment for us to pause and celebrate on what we can achieve together. It's a moment to say thank you to President Biden for signing the American Rescue Plan into law. But it's also time for us to say that we can and we must do more. I guarantee you there are streams all across America like this one here at Broadmeadow Brook that need work. And we need to keep fighting for more green, livable, sustainable, in a more sustainable world. This is about making our community a more livable, a more desirable community. And I've been here many times, especially during the pandemic, with my family, and it is an incredible space, and it is an incredible gift to the people of this community. And so again, let me thank our Senator Moore and Representative Donahue for taking the initiative to make sure that some of this federal money gets steered toward projects like this. But I'm happy to be here, and I'll now turn this over to Senator Moore.
Good afternoon. It's great to be here today. Before I start sending out all my thank yous and congratulations to my colleagues behind me, as Congressman McGovern was speaking, I don't know if you can hear the children in the background, but every time I come here, and I think Deb Carey, if she was around, would tell you that my son was still of the age where we needed daycare services, and this is one place that the kids used to come. He came here for summer camp, enjoyed the beauty of what's behind us, what surrounds us right now, and this really is a treasure. When you think of Worcester being the second largest city in New England, most times when you go to urban areas like this, you don't have facilities like this that the people in the community can access. So I want to thank the Audubon for all the great work that they do in preserving this and protecting it for the future. I feel like I've said this so many times, and I think I have, because of the great work that Congressman McGovern has done in Washington, bringing this resources to the state for us to disperse. It really is teamwork between the federal government, state government, and on the local level, city managers and mayors and towns on working together to really provide a quality of life for our community. And again, if I can just get a round of applause or thank you for Congressman McGovern for his constant efforts on our behalf. I also want to thank Representative Donahue, who I have the pleasure of working with. He's the one that, based on discussions with the Audubon, first got this line item funded in the budget, in the ARPA money from the federal government, and then notified me that it was in there. So he also deserves a lot of thanks for working with the Audubon and actually prioritizing this work. It is so important for us to protect our resources. We have so many advantages we have in New England that really stem from the preservation of our resources and allowing the public to enjoy them. So I really just want to thank everyone behind me, the city manager, the mayor, and everyone, Councilor Russell, for all their steadfast commitment to the people of the area. Because again, this is teamwork, and if we weren't working together, we wouldn't be here today to be celebrating this allocation of money in preserving what we have here. So thank you. It's great to see everyone, and again, hopefully we'll be celebrating or having more of these as the federal money continues to get dispersed back to the communities. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and it was perfect to hear those the children having fun walking through the path this morning, and you can still hear them in the distance, and I could hear there was a cardinal, I think, kind of heckling us a little bit earlier too, which was perfect timing for Mass Audubon. But it's wonderful to be here. Broadmeadow Brook is such an incredible community resource. It kind of checks the box for everything. I know we have kids from the Wright Square School and North High that come down for programming. We hold the Gravity Hill Neighborhood Association meetings here, where we have crime watches. It's a place just to go for a walk walk when you wanted to get out of the house during the pandemic, and it's a great environmental resource, protecting the brook and also protecting the area for wildlife right here in the city. And to have such an incredible urban wildlife sanctuary, I think is just such a unique thing for the city of Worcester to have, and to be able to put more funding and more attention to this facility is something I think we're all proud of. And as Senator Moore was saying, this is another perfect example of a case in federalism. We to thank you to Congressman McGovern and the entire federal delegation for bringing back the ARPA dollars, and then working with the Senate and the House. We created a plan, and I want to thank the Speaker and the Senate President for ensuring that we had time to have community input and community discussions and hearings to understand what the needs were directly in our districts for ARPA funding and for investment in infrastructure. And through those conversations, working with the Mass Autobahn and our local champion Deb Carey and Jen and the whole crew, we identified that we should be bringing in some investment and some focus to this incredible community resource, so that it stays kind of the jewel in the crown for this part of the neighborhood. So I want to thank Congressman McGovern for making sure that we had that money to disperse. I want to thank Senator Moore for having the ability to be to continue to ensure that we had the money through the conference committee and it was dispersed correctly through the governor's signature, and then also to the city, to Councilor Russell, who I share this district with, and the mayor and the manager for always being there and continue to allow us to know what other investments we need to make in the city. So it's a very exciting day. I'm looking forward to going for a walk when we have another 65, 70-degree day, though. But if not, if you notice, there are snowshoes at the counter. And it's always open to Worcester residents for free, so come on down if you want to in the 10 inches of snow tomorrow and see if you can find some birds. So thank you so much.
Mayor Petty.
Sorry.
You can thank Representative Donahue for that generous introduction.
Okay.
You don't
Thank
need
you,
an
Rep.
introduction.
No, I just want to, I do want to thank Congressman McGovern. It's good when you have great leadership in Washington, and he was a great advocate for the ARPA money, and because of him, Worcester was very successful. And Jim, I just want to personally thank you for everything you do for the Worcester County, and the people you represent nationally, and you do a wonderful job. I know Deb Carey couldn't be here today, but Deb and Jen and the whole staff, Martha and everyone, thank you for what you do. And you make a difference here in the city of Worcester. It means a lot. And the Broadmell Brook is truly a gem in our city. This is going to restore wetlands here and flood mitigation. And I was here when Dunkirk flooded, and I see the DPW group here and everything they've addressed here in the city of Worcester, doing a great job. And Jay and Dave and Phil, thank you for what you do here in the city of Worcester. Much appreciated. This is an important. The Autobahn does a great job when it comes to, like we said before, we heard the kids going down there with the after-school programs they do. It enriches our city. And also I want to thank Senator Moore and Dan Dunyon, not just for this and their advocacy for this, but for the Route 20 project. And George Russell was part of that and his families. And I want to thank them for everything they do, because that project, too, also addressed conservation and the sewer system here in the city of Worcester. So between the two grants, I think we're going to be doing well on this side of the city. And again, I just want to thank everyone. Appreciate it. I want to thank the city manager and his advocacy to make sure all our neighborhoods are taken care of here in the city of Worcester. So again, Jim McGovern, thank you for everything you do. You're a wonderful congressman, and the city of Worcester appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. I really appreciate it. You hit me right here. You hit me right here. Yeah, it was the first sincere one I got. Thank you, Joe. I'm really thrilled to be here, and I want to, add my appreciation to, first and foremost, Congressman McGovern, because all of the ARPA-funded projects, and there are going to be literally hundreds of them over the next couple of years, across different needs in our community. They're going to be housing projects, they're going to be supporting of small businesses, public health needs, recreational opportunities, environmental benefits, just a whole host of things, none of which would be possible if it wasn't for the kind of forward-thinking leadership and the ability to deliver that we have in our Congressman, Jim McGovern. So first and foremost, thank you to him for all he does. And I do want to just kind of make a connection, because the Route 20 project really is the reason that we're able to be here today for this next phase of the benefits that came from that Route 20 project. So Route 20 was one of the last areas, largest tracts of the city of Worcester that didn't have sewerage. And it was a real priority of Councilor Russell, the City Council, Mayor Petty, and certainly the legislative delegation for this area, Senator Moore and Representative Donahue. Let's get sewerage in the Route 20 corridor. Let's use that busy highway as a way to kind of expand the tax base, get more businesses, more investment in the city, and all the environmental benefits that come from expanding sewerage there. But it also allowed us to do some other things in the overall system, one of which was to cap a large sewer line that goes through Broadmeadow Brook. Now that that's been done, we have the opportunity to remove that barrier, that berm out of the middle of Broadmeadow Brook, which is what this $500,000 is going to do, and allow the natural environment to be restored. So if it wasn't for the partnership of the city, $10 million, the state, because of the senator and the rep, with their $10 million, and doing that Route 20 project, we would not have set the stage for this project with the resources of the congressman and the state to really restore the natural beauty and the natural kind of flow of water here at Broadmeadow Brook. So that's why we're here. It is all interconnected. All of these things set the stage for other elements. So, and Dan Donahue hit it right on the nose. It is federalism at its best. It's each level of government kind of working in concert, doing their piece to make the community better, to really restore a natural gem. And I'll just leave you with this. Worcester is going through this renaissance period. Our population is growing, investment. It's becoming a busier, denser city, which means spaces like this have never been more important. We have to preserve these last tracts of open space because it is not only restorative for the human beings in this city and this area, but it's also a habitat protection for the wildlife that comes here for refuge from an ever-growing and expanding city. So there's so many virtues that come from this project, and thank you to everybody for making it possible. And with that, I want to turn it over to Councilor George Russell, who's the very able councilor for this district.
Thank you, Ed. You know, when Kelly from Congressman McGovern's office contacted me to come today, I didn't think I was going to be called on to speak. I just knew that she threatened me that if I didn't come to this event, that they'd have the event on my deck at my house, which is on the other side of this sanctuary. You know, and being a selfish neighbor, if you will, I have the unique vision by waking up in the morning and making my coffee and looking out the window and seeing countless people walking on the path through Broadmeadow Brook's conservation area. And it makes me wake up every day and realize that this institution not only deserves this funding, but deserves our future support and our future funding, because they are not only an environmental centerpiece, they're the neighborhood centerpiece for this neighborhood and for this region and for this city. And with that, I thank all the legislators for their support and for their continued work. Thank you.
I'm next.
Sorry.
No worries. I'm happy to introduce myself. I'm Michelle Mannion. I'm the VP of Policy for Mass Audubon. Super delighted to be here today and couldn't be more grateful for the work of all of the folks standing behind me and many more. We have an incredible delegation, both in the congressional level, but also in the state. Congressman McGovern, Rep. Donahue, and Senator Moore, and the work that they've done to bring this funding here is incredible. And as the congressman said, this is a really big deal. I've been working on climate change policy for 25 years. This is the most money and investment I've ever seen in climate in my lifetime. It's a really big deal. And specifically the ARPA funding that's coming our way, $377 million of that is being devoted to nature and the environment. That's $100 million for climate resilience. And our program here in the state is the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Project. And this is exactly the kind of project that we'll see so many more of with that funding. We're seeing $100 million for water infrastructure, as was mentioned. You know, we've got to fix the sewers. We've got to fix our water infrastructure to deliver drinking water and keep all of that safe for cities like Worcester. We've got 25 million going to tree planting in the gateway cities and other cities like Worcester, and that's going to make a huge difference for our tree canopy. That makes a huge difference in summertime temperatures when we've got, climate changing our typical days in New England from, 5 or 10 over to 90 degrees to 20, 30 days over 90 degrees on average every summer. That's a huge difference. I think what's also a real privilege to be working as an advocate for nature and the environment in this part of the world is our elected officials get it. They really get that climate change is real. It's here. We've got about 10 to 15 years left to turn this tide around. We've got to make the investments now. They know also that nature is an investment. And by investment, what we mean is we put in money, we actually get way more back in return. We know that when we make investments like this project at Broadmeadow Brook, we get back flood resilience, we get back pollinator habitat, we get back, all of the jobs that go into this kind of work. We can hear from the kids behind us what they get out of it, and it's absolutely incredible how we weave that. It's something I'm just in incredible admiration of my colleagues at Mass Audubon. And lastly, really, nature is infrastructure too. As much as steel and cement and concrete, nature sort of undergirds everything that we do and everything that we need, whether it's agriculture, fresh air, a place to walk during a pandemic. I know I've appreciated that very deeply. So really grateful for all the support from our elected officials, from the city officials who've been incredible partners to Deb Carey and her team. And I'm sorry Deb isn't here today to celebrate this. She's been so instrumental to all of this work. But really just so excited for really the start of what I think is a period of investment in climate that we've all been waiting for a really long time. And with that, I'll turn it over to my colleague Jen, who's going to describe this incredible project that we're going to see happen in the next couple years.
Hi, thank you so much, Michelle. My name is Jen Madsen, and I have the distinct pleasure of serving this beautiful wildlife sanctuary and Mass Audubon as the Central Regional Director. We are honored and thrilled to feel the love of so many dedicated people and institutions here today. The Broadmeadow Brook Restoration Project is a significant and long-sighted undertaking, and we're grateful for all of the ongoing support. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the city for having the forethought to redo and upgrade the sanitary, sewer infrastructure in this region of the city. It truly was the event that kickstarted even the possibility of this project. By taking the sewer line that runs underneath the wetlands trail offline, we now have the opportunity to restore the brook to a more natural condition, supporting a greater connectivity to the entire wetland complex on either side of the brook. I'd also like to thank the Division of Ecological Restoration and Clark University, two institutions who continue to contribute guidance, staff time, and resources to this project. A huge shout out goes to the incredible, dedicated, and talented Mass Audubon staff from across departments who have worked so hard to bring this restoration project to life. Finally, I'd like to thank Congressman Jim McGovern and all of the political advocates here today that have made that $500,000 in ARPA funding possible. Their support is the foundation that's going to make this vision come to life. The goal of the Broadmeadow Brook Restoration Project is to make the stream and surrounding areas safer and more ecologically sustainable for people and wildlife alike. Over the next 5 years, Mass Audubon will work with the city and our partners to increase climate resiliency by developing greater floodwater storage, improving wildlife habitat, and building new and improved recreational opportunities. We continue to go about this project very, very thoughtfully by engaging a variety of stakeholders in order to ensure that this is good for our neighbors, good for our city, and good for the wildlife, and so many more who are impacted by the current water and floodplain system. This $500,000 infusion, along with a generous grant from the Southeast New England program of the EPA, will be the key to launching this project and making sure that the initial permitting and design work are underway. Once complete, this roughly $10 million project will be an integral part of the city's infrastructure, designed to better flood-proof the area for generations to come. For Mass Audubon and Broadmeadow Brooks Wildlife Sanctuary, this restoration project means increased opportunities in education, an enhanced visitor experience, and improved wildlife habitat for our current and future animal residents. We'll be able to reduce invasive species, eliminate periodic trail flooding, and hopefully even improve the water quality downstream. Our goal at Mass Audubon is to make nature accessible to all. I really hope that some or all of you will join me on a little walk after this to learn more about the project, or for anyone else, come by this weekend and do some snowshoeing. And we've got plenty of snowshoes, but really, help us protect the incredible wildlife system that exists in Worcester's very own backyard. Thank you so much.
So let me again thank Jennifer and Michelle, all the people at Mass Audubon, all the people at Broad Meadowbrook, all the supporters of Broad Meadowbrook. We are so grateful to all my colleagues behind me. If I could steal from Hillary Clinton, it takes a village, and it really does. But today it also takes a radiator. I know everybody's cold, so let's. But if anyone has any questions, anybody has any questions about this project or? Yeah, if anyone has any question about anything, yeah. No? Okay. All right. Any questions on Ukraine?